Efendim merhabalar. Üsküdar Üniversitesi
Greetings to all.
Araştırmaları
The
Enstitüsü'nün
Tasawwuf Research Institute of Üsküdar University's traditional international condensed Tasawwuf Research Summer School welcomes you all. This summer school is going to be having the closing session now. For the last 7 days, we have been blessed with so much grace from people of many years of experience, imbibed from all of their background and knowledge has been offered to us. We would like to thank to the esteemed administrative executive members of Üsküdar University, to the administrative staff, to the prominent members of faculty, to our students and all of our professors who have joined in from all different parts of the world. Even though there is a major time difference, we would like to thank each and every one of them. We have a very large technical team, members of Üsküdar University, the staff of Kerim Foundation, our prominent professional interpreters have been working heart to heart, shoulder to shoulder to make this possible. The elderly sought the knowledge, the information, and they have blessed us with this ocean of meanings, and we have felt it, tasted it, witnessed it, and now we're here to gather this offering. And we have opened this table, this sofra, with the name of God Almighty, and we know that Hak is one, and actually there's only one knower and one teacher, and all of our professors, all 15 of them, conveyed this and they shared their gems with us. And I would like to share with you the program of today. First, we will give the word to our esteemed Cemal Nur Sargut Hoca, and then we will have our founding rector's speech, followed by Mr. Rick Colby, who is addressing to us from a 12 hours of time difference. He actually deserved to rest, but he is joining us. And then Mamaram Sek will be with us from Senegal, followed by our members of faculty. And if possible, later, Yasmin Saikia will join us. And 7 of our students will be talking. And then we will give the word to...
Teşekkür konuşmamdır. Allah'a şükür konuşmamdır. Çünkü İslam'ın hakikatinde Saf suresinde olduğu gibi birlik, beraberlik ve aralarında hiç ayrılık kalmayacak kadar birbirine yapışmak var. İşte Allah aşkıyla birbirine yapışan ve hizmeti bize öğreten o profesörlere çok çok çok teşekkür ediyorum. Ben öncelikle teşekküre çok sevgili dostum Karl Earth'le başlamak istiyorum. Kendisi benim hakikaten arkadaşım, dostum, kardeşimdir. Kendisinin İslam tasavvufuna hizmeti hiçbir şekilde anlatılamaz, muazzam bir hizmettedir. Ammar Şimmel'in hocam Sami Ayverdi'nin de müridi olan Ammar Şimmel'in öğrencisidir. Fakat benim Karl'da gördüğüm ve çok sevdiğim taraf kendini ön plana çıkarmadan sadece hizmet için yaşamasıdır. İşte hakiki bir Müslümanın yapacağı davranışın bu olması gerektiğine inanıyorum. Bu birlik ve beraberlik yolunda el ele verip Amerika'dan başlayan bir yolculukla birçok ülkeye eriştik. Gene Karl'ı anlatmak için gittiğim bir konferansta çok genç, nurlu, Müslüman, çok güzel bir çocukla karşılaştım. Edep ehliydi. Benim için tam dervişti. Anlattığı Miraç beni kalbimden vurdu. Ben de Miraç'ı çok severim ve çok anlatırım. Fakat onun hali de Miraç'tı. Beni çok etkiledi. Bu dönem bizde olduğu için çok şanslı olduğumuzu düşünüyorum. Sevgili oğlum Rick Colby, ona oğlum demekten şeref duyuyorum. İnşallah daimi bizimle olur. Halini ve ilmini bütün öğrencilerle paylaşır ve böylece de bu işin milleti, dini, hep Müslümanların hep birlik içinde olması gerektiğini bize öğreten bir güzel.
He is such a great scholar, and my son, that he actually teaches everyone that we should live together with a divine love all together. So let me now turn towards Japan, and my brother there in Japan held my hand, and he actually gave the meaning of tasawwuf, and my teacher Kenan Rifai's teaching. Yasushi, Professor Yasushi, I would really like to thank you so much, because I cannot actually pay my debt, spiritual debt to you. May Allah be content with you. We haven't actually yet met Mamaram Sek, and I would like to thank him. I have heard so many things about him, and especially his interest in Sufi music, and that he was a beautiful servant who lives Islamic Tasawwuf in a beautiful way. Now is the turn to Yasmin. Can Güzel knows it very well. We met Yasmin in Can Güzel's house. He was a professor of history, but from the day we met, she started to be a professor of Sufism. He embraced this path, this service, in such a way that now she actually tells us a different kind of history by unveiling, because she has become a person of keshif, unveiling. I love the way she lives Islam, and I also really like the way her husband lives. And inshallah, in all our courses, summer courses, we will benefit from her from now onwards. Now let me go on. Tahsin, my beloved daughter, she really served us a lot, because she translated my one of my books. She edited one of my books. She's a student of Omid. We actually had the opportunity to be able to study the Quran in one whole year. Now she has become a scholar. I'm so grateful to Allah for this. That's why you are my beloved daughter, Tahsin. I'm following following your talks. I'm following your service to Islam, and I greet you with respect. May Allah make us always together with the meaning of Allah. And Reshat Hoca, you are a blessing to us. Your meaning, the teaching and the understanding of keshif, of unveiling, and even you're from the divinity department, but now you are a professor of Sufi with us, and you have such a great influence on our students. That's why I'm sending you my greetings and respect. Emine Hocam, you are really so much loved by the students in our school. You are a blessing from Allah to us. Your relationship between our students, the way you approach our students, you are a great sultan that teaches us how to become a real teacher. So thank you so much for everything. And now Mahmut Erol Hoca, actually we have the honor of having him in our lessons. When he actually had such a great duty internationally, he actually chose to be with us. So I'm extremely grateful to him. He has been with me from the start of my journey in these institutes, and he is such a great contribution to Turkey. Dilek, my beloved daughter, you, whenever you stay, if you stay actually silent and do nothing, your state tells us everything. I learn how to be in a spiritual state when I look at you. I learn a lot of things from you. I learn knowledge from you. And when you call me my teacher, I feel extremely proud. So may Allah be content with you. Thank you so much. Can Güzel and your husband, if you weren't with us, we wouldn't be able to lead the path in the States and open up this path in the States, and we wouldn't be able to taste this pleasure. So it's actually God who gave you this duty. So I'm so grateful. May Allah be content with you. May Allah be content with both your husband and your daughter, inshallah. And Eylül, may Allah also be content with you, because when you went to the States, you actually taught Islamic Sufism to the American students there. But the point where I'm most grateful about Eylül is that she prepared this PhD thesis about my teacher Kenan Rifai. So may you be so healthy and sound all throughout your life. And the best thing about this program is that we have two different kinds of knowledge. One, through the books, and second, through practicing and exploring, unveiling the truth. Now we are trying to focus on the second one. And all of our teachers are actually showing this with their state, with their behavior, with the way they approach people. And because of all of these things, I especially thank Elif so much. I pray for Elif every night. Although Tasawwuf wasn't her field, she has now become so knowledgeable, wise, but at the same time so humble, as if she doesn't know anything. So she is a dervish. If she weren't with us, this institute wouldn't be able to run that smoothly. So may Allah be content with her 1,000 times. May Allah accept her dreams come true. And what I pray for from Allah is that my students can listen to all these lessons, and inshallah, the Higher Council of Turkey will be able to accept our distance learning, so that even from the Amazon, from Europe, from Africa, students will be able to have this right, the opportunity to be able to have our education in distance learning. We are actually now trying to have a campaign. Those friends around us who haven't actually completed their university education now completing their education. Even our doorkeeper that lives in our apartment block, he's going to become a university student. And they say we haven't actually had this pleasure before. So I would like to thank them. So I'm so pleased with this summer school, with this study. And I really do hope and wish that everybody will put whatever they learn into practice, and that we will go on contacting with all the professors. So whoever helped Elif, especially the person who actually runs the system and makes it work, I really thank to everyone from the bottom of my heart. May Allah be content with everyone, inshallah. Dear,
thank you so much.
Hocam, thank you so much. Hocam, can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Thank you, Can Güzel. Yes, I can hear you. Efendim, with your prayers, to your prayers, we say
amen to all of your prayers.
From the bottom of our hearts,
please keep us in
always
your prayers.
Keep us in your heart and in our prayers.
I would like to ask one thing, if possible. You talked about adab, and you said one meaning of adab is invitation. You said the letters of adab actually symbolize invitation. Thank you so much. I was actually going to mention this, and you said that this was a table, actually a table of a feast. And following this and respecting this actually is respecting and following Quran. And this is actually a table of offerings, a feast from God to us. And that is why Adab is seeing God everywhere and knowing God and working for God, not for the servant, not for the humans. And seeing God in the servant is what service is all about. And that is why there are many people like Hazreti Hüseyin who have been like tortured like Hazreti Hüseyin. We will have a period of 10 days to commemorate this. But Hazreti Hüseyin endured everything, surrendered to all of it, and never questioned or inquired why this happened to me. He has taken all of it, knowing that it all came from God. So let God Almighty bestow upon us the same thing, to be able to understand this, have this awareness. So in this table of Irfan, the feast of Irfan, let God Almighty allow us to do this in the same way. Amen. And Bahtiyar Vahapzadeh, as our Elif Hoca said, the late Vahapzadeh said, a Sufi is born in one spot, but has makams in 1,000 places, spots, because they do not fit into one place. And Umid Safi talked about this in terms of Hazreti Harakani, and you also tell this to us. Hazreti Harakani, we know that is in Kars by heart, but we also know that he has multiple maqams. For example, Bayezid Bestami is visited here, but his beloved body, sacred body, is in Bestam. And so we say that visiting the maqam is more important than visiting the location. Let God Almighty allow everyone to go to Kars and to visit that Sultan, so that they can witness how strong his influence is. Also, one more thing, the sacred head of Hazreti Hussein is said to be in Egypt and in Damascus. I feel that it is in Damascus because it gives you a different type of understanding when you gather with them. And let God Almighty allow us be worthy of Ahli Bayt, so that they could embrace us in the afterworld, so that they could welcome us, so that they could make us closer to the ultimate Sultan, to our Prophet, not only close, but also yaqeen, aware and understanding of it. One last thing, if I may say, is, you know, I made a speech about adab to our students, and I was very sick on that day, Can Güzel. And before I started my speech, for hours, I coughed blood for hours. And it was so big of a desire inside me. I prayed for hours from God that he would allow me to talk. And I didn't cough once when I was talking. So God allows us to learn this from Prophet. God talks through you, but you can't rely or trust yourself. You have to know your servitude. You have to know your place, and you do your job, you do your homework, and if you fulfill your responsibility, God will speak through you. And that's what I've learned from the Prophet. Even though everything is created for his sake, he chose to be the servant, and let God Almighty allow us to be like him. Amen. Hocam, we pray for your health and prosperity and wellness. And now we will have Professor Dr. Nevzat Tarhan, the founding rector of Üsküdar University. We are also grateful to you for making it possible for us to have the Tasawwuf Research Institute's third international, well, and now traditional Sufi summer school. We would please like to hear from you as well.
Hayırlı günler diliyorum
herkese. I would like to wish a good day, everyone, and greet everyone with love. Having this quality spiritual journey on these hot summer's days is a service from you. Thank you so much for doing this. Humanity, the history of humanity goes through very interesting times, and actually in our pursuit for truth, for haqiqah, in this age, there are two major diseases that we are facing. One of them is the selfishness, egotism, and narcissistic epidemic. This is actually a book published in USA. Narcissistic epidemic is the local version of a pandemic. And the second one is extreme secularism, worldliness. The existence is the creation of human is forgotten. There had been no previous age like this, that this was all forgotten. The material welfare is very high, but there is a drunkenness that made people forget death and the afterworld. That's the time we're living in. They forget existence, they forget the search for meaning. And about the search for meaning, the existentialist philosophy poisons humanity because they say it is stupid to run after meaning, to search for meaning. Just like Albert Camus said, there is no meaning in searching for meaning. Thus, you can either surrender to a religion like the weak, or you can protest meaning like I do, he says. So there are that sort of philosophical waves which has influenced the Western world, and they do it in the name of science. They are making people forget God in the name of science, and they are making humans sacred. So we need to find new answers for old questions. If we give old answers to old questions, since they don't have any value of proof, they don't actually work. Especially the Western mentality strongly opposes that. So how can we convince the Western mind, Western mentality? The way to do this is to come up with the ammunition of proof. So the biggest jihad of this era is using the sword of proof so that we can convince people to truth. So what is Tasawwuf doing here? Tasawwuf, in terms of 21st century competences, we're talking about the gratefulness and reconciliation. And when we talk about happiness, it's not only about making ourselves happy, it's also about making other people happy. So in terms of the Anatolian Irfan, the Tasawwuf is the definition of the Quran's morals, ahlak. So it is a combination of ilm and irfan, the science and the morals. And this has been scientifically proven, the Anatolian irfan. When we look at the core of it, the quantum physics and neuroquantology shows us that the humans are affiliating, connecting, linking creatures. We don't live alone. There is a quantum brain above our brain, which is connected to the entire universe. The quantum consciousness is not isolated. It's all interconnected. Three of them are very important. The environmental link, the link to oneself, and the third is the link to the creator. So if one can connect these two links, then that means you have the true compass in your life path, also about the work and society, family, and oneself and creator. If one of them is missing, then one tire is missing in a car. So mindfulness is the term used for self-discovery. There are third waves, psychotherapies, and the internal discovery is encouraged, what we call the 21st century competences. So it's a very serious step towards that direction. Also the connection with the environment. How do you have safe attachment? The self-centered person cannot have safe attachment. And the word civilization, I'm sure our professors know it well. Let them correct me if I'm wrong. Even the medeniyet in Arabic comes from the root of the word of a loan or a debt. So everybody is actually feeling not safe or secure, but everybody needs to be owing to each other, not asking from others. So we will not only live for ourselves, and he will live. And one needs to keep death in mind. The intelligent man thinks strategically. So if you don't think about after death, how can you be an intelligent person if you ignore the existence of death? So we will have an understanding of us being visitors on this world, and to get rid of our arrogance, we won't see being a good person as a virtue, but as a payment for being on this earth. But right now, being a good person is seen as a virtue. Okay, it's a virtue, but actually it is a blessing for us. We have been not created as a tree, as a bug, as a flower. We were created as a human being. So that means we owe something to our creator for our being hosted in this world. A smart person will make this a goal in his life pursuit and will ask herself, where do I come from? Where do I go? What is eternity? What is life? So then we need to come up with new explanations to death. Whoever brings a new explanation to death will search to establish the link with God. And once you start researching this, interestingly, doors start to open in front of you, what we call the eye of the heart. So you start to establish a connection with God. As you know, Hazrat Ibrahim was born in an idolatry environment. He was living in a cave, and he questions everything. Once he gets out of the cave, he questions his existence, life, and who created me. All of these questions come to his mind, and he realizes that there's a reason, there is a mental background, a pursuit in deserving the first of the humankind. And he looks at the sun, it sets, and then the clouds come and go, and everything changes, and he questions, and he says, I don't like the ones which set, which go down. And he says, God sees me, I don't see God. And then he starts to search and to connect, to attach. And then after he takes the steps, the help arrives. And our prophet was made a prophet. He was 40. And after the first revelation, for a couple of years, he doesn't get a second one, and he gets very depressed and he considers dying, and then he matures. It's not like you just sit all lazy and having your coffee and the spiritual help arrives. No, you have to sweat, you have to work, you have to put your efforts forth, you have to have a mental, cognitive suffering. You can't have improvement otherwise. So the 60 minutes of our 60 minutes, not even 59, must be for this. When I was working in Erzincan, there was a tailor man, and he was like the kutub of that place. Only his house was not demolished during the earthquake. So the tailor Papa was not a learned man, he was illiterate. But when he was working as a tailor, he was sewing, and whatever he was doing, he was sewing, saying Allah, Allah. And even though he was doing a so-called worldly task, he was reciting God's name. And then he creates a high level of attachment to God, which would make him a kutub of his time. And if we want God to talk to us, he always talks to us. He talks to us with incidents, with events, with all the things. So it's another learning, deciphering that language of events and incidents, knowing what he is saying in the things that happen to us. So that's a different language. There is one third book other than Quran and Hadith, the book of universe, the birds and bees and trees and skies. It all tells us God. If this is what we can do, that's the look, that's the approach, that's the perspective. Looking at an atom, a cell, when we look at that, we need to ask the question, why did God create this? Not only how did God make this? Because the positive sciences only ask the question how, but we have to focus on why. Why did he create such a perfect system, and why does he not show us himself? If we want to look for the truth, for Hakika, the paths to Hakika are different. And Tasawwuf is only one of them, which has traditionally became very solid and stable. Maybe without a classical Sufi training, each person will come up with its own tasawwuf by seeing each one of their own sciences as a science of God. Whatever they study, it can be physics or chemistry or whatever you do, you see it as a God science, and opening up the eye of the heart, and let God Almighty not pervert us from his path. Amen. And let God Almighty make us successful in our pursuit for his path. And let God Almighty bestow upon us to be among those who open their hearts to God. And I would like to congratulate each and every one of you who has gone on this very nice spiritual journey on these hot summer days. Thank you so much, my professor. I think Cemal Nur Hocam will say something. If it weren't for our professor, we would not have had this Tasawwuf Institute. Of course, it's all God Almighty making things happen, but we have to also be grateful for the means, for the reason, for the vehicle. We know that, so we're very grateful to him for making this possible. I agree with every word he said. And Salvador Dali said, everything proves God, but I don't believe he said. It reminds me of his saying. And I see people adore two things, either the creator or oneself. Unfortunately, that disease, that sickness led us to worship ourselves, to adore ourselves. God willing, inshallah, these professors, the professors like ours will help to have better psychotherapy. I'd like to repeat once again that I'm grateful to him. Astaghfirullah, our job is becoming a vessel, a vehicle. Thank you so much for making it possible for us. And you're a friend, a dost for us. It is a major blessing, a nima for me to be a partner in this. Thank you so much, dear professor. And now I will switch to English with your permission.
Sayın Doçent Doktor, excuse me, the Associate Doctor, Professor Rick Colby from University of Oregon is with us today. We have 12 hours difference among us, so it's nighttime over there. Thank you, Rick, for joining us. The floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you all for honoring me and including me in this gathering.
Hürmet edip aramıza kattığınız için bu cemaate teşekkür ediyorum, bu cemiyete.
It is true that there are many hours that separate us. It's the middle of the night here in Oregon, western part of the United States. And many kilometers separate us between Turkey or Senegal and the United States. But I'm very thankful that we have this blessing, this facility, that we can all come together here despite differences in time and differences in space. And actually, they all become one, and we can be here together, which is a lovely thing.
Beraber olabildiğimiz için ki bu da çok harika bir şey.
I also am thinking of teaching that I heard from my friend, my colleague, my teacher, Omid Safi. Omid Can yesterday was sharing a story of a teaching by Harakani, who is an ancestor of Maulana Rumi.
Hazreti Mevlana'nın atalarından olan Hazreti
And the story had to do with how Harakani said, there was a saying of his, that when someone kicked a rock far, far away in Turkestan, or kicked a rock somewhere in Asham, in Syria, and hurt themselves, even from a far distance, he would feel it. It affected him as well. And this is truly a beautiful saying, because I sincerely believe that we need to have this kind of global feeling, this global consciousness, this realization that we're one.
Bu global farkındalığı, hepimizin bir olduğunu herkese anlatmalıyız. Türkiye'de de şu anda cereyan eden.
Here in Oregon right now, and in California, and in other places that are very, very sad, there is a terrible pandemic that is striking people all over the world. And the more that we can come to realize that these are human concerns and human tragedies that affect us all, I think the better we will be for it. And so I come here not just as a teacher. I am a student of Karl Ernst. I am a student of Jamal Nur Hoja. I'm a student of Omid Safi, but I also consider myself a student of the people of this institute who were introduced to me as the students. Many of them asked really very good questions after I talked for a little while, perhaps talked for too long, for hours at times. I get excited, and sometimes it's hard for me to stop talking and to listen more. But there were some excellent questions that were asked that made me think about some of the books, some of the teachings, some of the ideas about Muhammad's night journey and ascension, and see them in ways that I had not seen them before. had me consider some of these narratives, some of these stories, some of these teachings in new ways. So it was very humbling for me. I realized that I am still a student and I always will be a student. And all of you are my teachers. I have much, much to learn. There has been a lot of barakah, I think, around this Summer Institute. Not only just in the lovely conversations, exchanges, teachings, lessons, but also just there has been a lot of love and a lot of light that I think has very, very palpable. It has been flowing from our conversations and our exchanges. And so please forgive me if I, again, am not speaking very coherently or eloquently, but I just want to say thank you for honoring me in allowing me to participate. I have learned very much. And in fact, the very day that I gave my second presentation, I opened up a book and I found new teachings and new texts having to do with Muhammad's ascension that I had not seen before and that I was not aware of before. And they are opening my eyes and opening my heart. So I truly, sincerely believe that there has been a lot of barakah that has been flowing from our exchanges. So I just want to close by saying thank you and sincere thank you to all of you who have organized, to all of you who are translating right now. This is very difficult work and very tiring work. And a sincere thank you to Jamal Noor Hoja for honoring me by calling me her son. That's truly a sincere honor and pleasure. I wish you a wonderful end to the conference. I'm sorry that I will not be able to stay for the musical concert that is coming up. It will be 3 or 4 in the morning very soon here. And so I probably will not be able to stay through much longer, but I want to thank you for allowing me to share a few words and to share my thanks. Çok teşekkür ederim.
Thank you very much, Rick. We are honored by your presence. And Cemal Nur Hocam sends her love, prayers, and hugs to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
She wants to say something, I think.
O Allah'ın bize bir lütfu oldu.
You are a blessing, a grace from God with your presence, with your humility, with your approach, with your attitude. You're a total gift from God as a blessing, as a grace. We are so grateful to you. And we wish to be with you together, both in this world and the other. That's what I pray to God for.
I pray that as well. Thank you very much.
So thank you, Rick. Have a nice rest, inshallah. Our love to you. And inshallah, we look forward to having you again, even in the physical format, inshallah.
Inshallah, I look forward to it.
So, Professor Mamram Seck, thank you so much for joining us, offering your knowledge to us from Senegal. This is a blessing. I mean, in a way, it is difficult to live behind the screens and then, I mean, in front of the screens, but at the same time, it is a blessing of Allah that we are united in front of the screen. So, the floor is yours, Dr. Seck.
Thank you very much. It was my pleasure being in this Summer Institute. And as the other people have said it, I feel very honored to be asked to participate and give a lecture to this institute. So I'm grateful to all of you for make me be part of this. I have to confess that when you asked me to participate and give a lecture, I wondered, so what am I going to say? You know, I heard great things about this institute since you guys came to Senegal with Carl in 2017. So I remember the lecture that Professor Jumanur gave remotely to us. People were so happy. You know, we wanted to see her in Senegal, but at that time she could not, but she addressed us very nicely, you know, over the, I think it was Skype. So I still remember those kind words that I also heard today. I think I am the one who is blessed by, you know, just being with you and being able to be part of this. And director who just spoke recently, I think he said it all. He said it all because I also believe that tasawwuf is the solution to all problems of this world. This might be overstating, but that is true. Sufism means doing one's best to get closer to God. And once you succeed in this difficult endeavor, your heart, your feelings, and your deeds will all be for the sake of Allah. That is what is missing in our world today, because hatred, physical and symbolic violence against each other, being unethical to each other, are what made our world the way it is today. So as a Sufi, you would love everything surrounding you. You would love your country and its people and strive to make your country peaceful and develop without causing harm to others. So you would love your neighbors and you would love humankind in general. So I think this is the lesson that we need to teach to the whole world, you know, to lean towards, you know, tasawwuf, to try to, you know, clear our heart so that we can love each other. We can see the light. We can see God in everything and everywhere, you know, and be better people in general. I think the whole world should attend this summer, you know, program institute. You know, Senegal, as I said yesterday, is a 95% Muslim country, the majority of which are Sufis, you know, but we don't have an institute like this. And that was one of the things that we wanted to accomplish in our partnership with UNC Chapel Hill, to open an institute that would be for religious studies, but mainly Sufi studies, because we are all Sufis. So I think we can work with you on this project and learn from your experience to see ways in which we can have such an institute on campus here at the UCAD, the University Cheikh Anta Diop of Dakar. I talked to our rector about that one day, and he said that makes a lot of sense. So thank you so much for having me, and I look forward to more, you know, partnership with you, and so I'm so grateful to you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mamram. Cemal Hocam, I guess she has something to tell you.
Evet, Keşke beraber kurabilsek.
Wish we could establish that institute together with you. I wish we experienced this love with so many beautiful people. We tell, we understand, we internalized. I'm very thankful to you, Mama Ram. It's as much as Carl said, you are a great person, full of love for Allah. Inshallah, we will hope to see you, and I wish God will allow us to visit you in your country. Amin.
Kızı Amine Sek bizim üniversitemiz.
Mama Ram, Amine Sek applied to our university. She's about to be a student in Üsküdar University, and inshallah, hopefully in this autumn period, she will be our student in the International Relations Department. If I were young, I would get tasawwuf education there once again. Inshallah, I recommend it to everybody. God bless you, Professor. We want to learn from you, indeed.
Mama Ram, thank you so much, and we look forward to.
Teşekkürler ve sizi o güz döneminde burada görmeyi umut ediyoruz.
Efendim, Üsküdar Üniversitesi Tasavvuf Araştırmaları Enstitüsü.
University, the Institute for Sufi Studies has actually, openly speaking, been a bit neglected. It's because of technical reasons. But this is a pain in my heart. Ottoman Turkish and Seljuki Turkish are not known. The works written in Ottoman and Seljuki times are not known and are not read. One of the most important functions of our institute, in addition to what has been said so far, is to reveal the Sufi works, in particular in the geography of Ottomans and in the geography of Seljukis, and we have very distinguished teachers who are teaching them to us with their love. Now I would like to leave the floor to Professor Emine Yeniterzi, who studied the Garibname of Aşık Pasha with us in the summer school and who has taken us to the depth of that work. Thank you very much, Can Güzel Hoca. I'm greeting and hugging you all with love and respect. Personally, I'm a literature worker, and the capital of literatures are the poems and the stories. And I would like to tell a small story from Mesnevi of Hazreti Mevlana. In the third volume of Mesnevi, Hazreti Mevlana tells a story like this. A prophet one day was making ablution before going to prayer, and then he was about to wear his shoes, but while he was trying to wear one of the pairs, a bird comes and takes away the other pair, and the bird turns the shoe, and from inside the shoe, a black snake falls down, and the bird brings back the shoe and leaves it in front of our prophet. So I do not want to. So with the bird, with his body language, howl language, he says, "I don't want to be bad." And prophet says that I thought this was a suffering, but this was actually a blessing. God has opened the veils for me. He showed me everything, but at that time I was dealing with my nafs and I didn't see. And the bird says, "No, you are very far from being gafil. You cannot be ignorant. You cannot be gafil. When I saw your face, that knowledge was reflected to me. I got that knowledge directly from you." And Hazreti Mevlana, as a lesson from this story, is summarized like this: every suffering is together with uneasiness. The incidents which you assume to be bad have a wisdom in that, and they will end with a beauty. And later there is another couplet which is very touching. A great person was asked what tasawwuf is, and that person said, in times of suffering, a freshness and joy, finding joy and freshness in the heart in times of suffering. So for it's at this time where all the world and our country is dealing with a lot of sufferings, pandemic and fires and everything coming at the same time. The address, the venue, the time of this summer school was arranged very well by God Almighty. And there is a saying that if you want to sit with Allah, you should sit with the Sufis. This is said by Ashik Pasha and Mevlana as well. So among all these problems, we are here together, and there is an important wisdom in that. And inshallah, we have benefited from this wisdom. I will finish with a poem. A poet called Ali Rıza Efendi said that everybody who wants to be a mature person should read this tasawwuf. So this position we have achieved is a great blessing. Inshallah, we will understand it, and inshallah, our institute shall be lasting. First of all, I would like to thank our students. Without our students, this summer school, this Mektebi Irfan, would not exist. And I'm very thankful to all professors. I'm grateful to them. And I'm also thanking our interpreters. And this webinar is not easy. There's a technical team. So I am extending my gratitude and thanks to everybody. And I'm greeting you all.
Valla ne diyeyim bu kadar.
What shall I say? Such a beautiful narrative. It's just a narrative of Professor Emine. We have met her long years ago, and she, as if she had accepted the institute, as if she is the owner of it. She's teaching all the time, and she's making such good relations with the students. Thank God the children are receiving whatever she says with pleasure, and I'm especially thanking to her because she is making the students love Ottoman language. To you and to my biologic son, Kerim loved the Ottoman Turkish. It was impossible, and I have seen this miracle. May God bless you. I mean, God bless you too. In this summer school, in a very interesting way, Üsküdar, besides distinguished professors of Üsküdar University, we have had professors from 8 different universities. Ibrahim Musa from Notre Dame University, Karl Ernst, Yasushi Tonaga from Japan, from Duke University, Omid Safi, from Arizona State University, Yasmin Saikia, from Senegal, from Sheikh Antioch University, Mama Ramsek, from University of Oregon, Nick Colby, and from Princeton University, Tahsin Taver. These 8 professors have shown us an approach on the classical works, the methodology knowledge about how to study them. Actually, these are giving us a huge responsibility in relation to the sources on our land. In particular, Ibrahim Musa said that the way to knowing self is going through knowing the past, from reading the works which were already written. And the same thing has been said by Professor Yasmin Saki. And in order to know the history, in which way we should work, and what is the Sufi thought in this world, we are learning it from Professor Reşat Öngören. With his seminaries in the summer school, he briefly explained the great ocean of subjects in 2 seminars, the Sufi thought in Selçuklu Anatolia and Sufi thought in the Ottoman Anatolia. We are very thankful for that, and the floor is yours. I do thank you. I would like to greet all the participants with love and respect. This is the last day of the week, and I do not want to talk too long and exhaust you. But for 1 week, we have experienced a festival of science and spirituality. I would like to briefly express my impressions about that. Here, from various countries, from various branches, our professors have provided us with knowledge, 15 different professors, from Japan to America to Africa, from various geographies, professors attended. And what I have observed in all these professors is this: there's a unity of oneness of heart. There's a oneness of heart. Everybody is modest. Everybody is devoted. This was very impressive for me. Besides, there is a unity of goal. That is, the that's the tasawwuf will be solution for the whole world, and it's the only prescription for the salvation of humanity. This is understood very well by all professors. This is very impressive. We are academicians, we are scholars, and in the academy there's a self, there's an ego. I researched, I found, I investigated, I wrote it first, I said it first. However, for 1 week, we have seen that everybody has been sharing and treating what they have, but not in a feeling of ego. If they have submitted a new knowledge, they say, as I learned it from here, saw it from there. So they are presenting them in a modesty, in a humbleness. Indeed, there is a unity of adab here. Adab, as you know, in the tekkes, in the entrance of tekkes, it writes Edeb Yahu. When I first learned it, 40 years ago from now, when I started to study Sufism, Tasawwuf, I thought that this tablet is written in front of their eyes for suggesting adab to the dervishes. But later, when I learned the different deep meanings of adab, as Jamal Nur Hoja has talked about this in depth as a central understanding and concept. So then I understood that it's not only dervishes entering from that door, the sheikhs, the mature people, Kamil people are also entering, and even the sheikh of that tekke is entering from that door. So what's the message of that? That writing for those people, you as sheikhs, keep being mature, preserve the adab. This is the message given to them. And in this sense, indeed, maybe you can think that people here are academicians. They have proven themselves. Why are we talking about adab to them? You can ask that question. Please forgive me, I do not want to overpass my right. This is what I mean by adab. The effort and sincerity about haq and the hakikat. And I have observed this. Finally, I have to say this. I try to say everything. I try to listen to all the presentations, and I have seen that there has been a oneness, unity of procedure. My students would know what I mean by procedure, usul, and the Sufis say if we are not achieving the haq, that is because we do not know the procedure. I just wanted to remind this message. All the professors were presenting their knowledge based on the procedure of tasawwuf. And you can say that. What's the state about that? Like they are already working on tasawwuf and they should know it anyway. But even in Turkey, not set alone, let aside abroad, many Sufi scholars have mistakes about procedure, unfortunately. While they are writing, while they are talking, they do not obey the procedure of Sufi Tasawwuf. And that's why we cannot achieve the goals. I have attended many panels, many symposiums, and when something is done in one session, the other professors are changing it, destroying it in the other sessions. And because there is not a unity in method, and because of that, they cannot achieve the goal. For this reason, I'm grateful for to the institute. This institute is creating, and it is going to create form the unity of method. So when we attain that method, our wuslat will get easier, our achievement, and will become much easier. And I see that. Before me, Professor Rick Colby pointed out to that the questions of the students were at least as important as the information given by professors. I'm not saying this for no reason. Since 2011, I entered this institute. I always say this. I have learned a lot of things through the questions of my students. The quality of our students are very important. For this reason, so there has been a great unity and togetherness between teachers and professors. So there are two dissertation examples, and we are saying that our institute is working interdisciplinary way. In this sense, our institute with theology departments in state universities and foundation universities and in literature faculties, they are studying on Tasawwuf, or they are working on the literary work from Tasawwufi sources. What do we do differently? The difference of institute is that they are performing interdisciplinary work. There have been two very good examples of that presented in this summer school. So we have data about this. And inshallah, these examples will be multiplied. And at the end of my remarks, I would like to thank all the people who were helping to the establishment of this institute. And I would like to thank all the professors who gave the lectures. And I would like to sincerely thank who organized this summer school. And I'm extending my respect to you all. Professor Cemal Nur. I believe that Professor Reşat was directly selected by Kenan Rifai. The greatness of his work and his belief and his faith was very effective while he was talking to students, and he is using his discovery while trying to reach a great knowledge. And inshallah, we shall be as modest as him. We should know our place. An institute teaching that has been a blessing to us. And may God bless all of you, in particular the professors. Thank you very much, Professor Reşat. Thank you very much, Professor. God bless you. Now, from Kyoto University, our Professor Yasushi Tonaka has recorded a message to us. Yesterday, he got vaccinated with the second dose of BioNTech. He said he had a fever of 38 degrees and he is not able to join us live. If you allow me, I'm going to share that video, and later Kazunori Matsura, we have selected him as a representative of international students. Dr. Kyoto has done his PhD now he's working in the embassy of Japan in Pakistan. So I will leave the floor to him, but now I'm waiting for the video of Yasuki Tonaka.
Hello, I'm sending a short video message from Japan. It's a pity that I cannot join the closing panel because I'm now feverish because of the side effect of COVID vaccine. Anyway, first of all, I'd like to express my great gratitude to the organizers as well as Jamal Nur Hojamuz and the founding chancellor, Professor Dr. Nevzat Tarhan, for inviting me to such a kind of special chance of summer school. And I myself really enjoyed it. And such a kind of serial lectures has, in my opinion, both merits and demerits. As for the demerits, each lecture is independent from each other. So it may be chaotic, and especially for the beginners, it may be difficult to get a general image of Sufism. On the other hand, it has the merits. Sufism itself has many faces, and also the approaches to Sufism have many ways. So I hope that the audience realizes such a situation through this summer school. I believe that this summer school is a precious chance to foster a next generation. I believe Sufism will play a more important role in Islam, and Sufi studies will enrich Islamic studies. I hope all of us can meet one another face to face in the next year. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Tonaga. We appreciate it. Thank you. Now it is time to turn the mic as the representative of the international students. Dr. Kazunori Matsuda, are you ready? Can you? Thank you.
Now you can see my voice?
Yes, okay. I can hear you.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Kazunori Matsuda from Japan, and I thank to Jamal Nur Hoja for organizing this seminar, and thanks to other teachers like Professor Khan and Jangir Hoja and all the technical staff. To let me introduce myself, I attended the education program of the Bridge of Two East in 2018. My research topic is Urdu religious writing by South Asian ulama in 19th and 20th century. Professor Dr. Ibrahim Musa mentioned in this seminar Haji Mudadullah Muhajir Makki, the spiritual pillar of their one founders. My research topic is relating to him. The last year, I finished a PhD at the Kyoto University. Now I live in Karachi, Pakistan due to my job, which support NGOs in Japan. So I attend this seminar from Karachi. So this seminar is very interesting for me because the range of lectures is very wide. And not only Turkey and Ottoman, but also South Asia and West Africa. Recently, the Turkish culture is reviewed in Pakistan. Typical example is the TV drama Yunus Emre. So it is dubbed in Urdu, and now we can check on the YouTube. So the main reason there are the two main impression of attending this seminar. The first, I feel the importance of knowing Sufis in other areas. We tend to be biased toward our belonging area. So I recognize the importance of looking back from a large perspective. Secondly, I was keenly aware of the importance of the Japanese translation of Sufism introduction books. There are Japanese translation of Sufism. There are just Nicholson's Sufism introduction, but no translation of the Annemarie Simmel or Professor Dr. Karl Ernst. So we Japanese have to translate this important introduction. And recently, there is a trend in Japanese academia to listen to Toshihiko Izuzu and Zen Buddhist scholar Daisetsu Suzuki. So I think Sufism is important as a perspective to listen them. A few days ago, my friend talked to Dr. Makoto Sawai, and we tried to translate important introductory work of Sufism. So I hope it will be completed within a few years and will be published, inshallah. Thank you. Çok teşekkür ederim.
Thank you so much, Matsuda. It's always nice to see you, and learning about this is really encouraging and giving us hope. MashaAllah. Congratulations, my dear. Take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. Değerli arkadaşlarım, muhterem hocalarım, efendim, şimdi biz bu yaz okulunda Demir Reşat hocamın da...
In this summer school, as mentioned by Reşat Hoca, we have made something for the first time. We dared to come to the arena with our works, and we are very hopeful. And we are very thankful to her, Professor Dilek Güllütuna. She encouraged two of her students for presenting their presentations, their dissertations, and we admired their dissertations, Ebru Aslan and Nazlı Kayahan. I am very excited. I'm very hopeful. I'm very happy. Beautiful things are happening, and it will be even more beautiful. We feel that their hearts are being reflected to here. So I would like to leave the floor to Professor Dilek now. Professor Dilek, would you please unmute your mic? Excuse me. These summer schools have rich programs and they have very intensive participation. And every year we are looking forward to them. And the third summer school has been successfully completed, thank God. First of all, I would like to state that we are very grateful to the director of the institute and professors, to Professor Elif Erhan, and in particular to you, Can Güzel. I'm very thankful to you. And I would like to extend my gratitude to Professor Cemal Nur Hoca, who accepted us as a part of this structure. This year, we have listened to a variety of subjects with different perspectives and angles. And another better aspect of this study is that this gathers together professors from all over the world, from different traditions. As you know, the science, ilm, is a dynamic phenomenon. Even though there are some general rules, there might be differentiation based on different cultures, in particular in our area. Explaining tasawwuf in Turkey is much different from teaching it in Africa or in America or in Japan. Because the addresses, the cultures, and the communities are different, this is actually a activity of translation. Professor Reshad said there has been a unity of the method. The core, the essence is one. So in that oneness, we can experience all of these differences. This is a great richness for ourselves and for our students. And for this reason, we are looking forward to this work every year. This year, differently from the previous years, we have shared the dissertations in our university of our students, Nazlı and Ebru. And taking this opportunity, once again, I would like to thank them for their presentations. Because of the structure of our institute, we are working with people from different backgrounds. So we are looking at their subjects wearing the eyeglasses of tasawwuf. New gates are being opened, new connection points are formed, new perspectives are emerging. And in this sense, we have included a presentation about the contribution of tasawwuf to business life. And this was a very good example to our studies. In example, Professor Nevzat said we have to give the answers of today to the questions of today. As Hazreti Mevlana says, today new things should be said. And in this institute, we have made a very efficient group work with distinguished professors. And as we are very thankful, and we have received the blessing of being part of this very good work, and we are very thankful to that, and we pray for the continuation of this. Thank you very much, and I particularly thank you for saying that you are waiting, you are looking forward to that, because it follows a very intensive, busy working life. Now, dear Omnia Ayat, I would like to give the floor to you, who is making us excited while she is talking about her study area. The floor is yours, Omnia. Omnia, would you please unmute yourself?
Pardon. For the past week, I have seen Ihsan. Excellent.
Geçtiğimiz hafta içerisinde Ahsen'i gördüm, mükemmeliyeti gördüm, aşkı gördüm, muhabbeti gördüm. Sufizmin Batı Afrika'dan, Orta Asya'dan Hindistan'a kadar tasavvufun farklı yüzlerini gördüm. Ve burada verilen bilgilerin akademik sofistikeliğinin dışında gerçek sufi hocalardan çok etkilendim. Sufizmi, tasavvufu sadece akıllarıyla değil, gönülleriyle, kalpleriyle kavramışlardı. Ve burada Cemal Nur hocamın şahsında İbn Farid'in inancı şuydu: benim başka bir yolum yoktur. Tek yolum muhabbetin, aşkın yoludur der. Ve eğer bir gün bu yoldan saparsam benim inancımdan sapmış olurum der. Bu hafta hepimiz Allah'a bir adım daha yaklaştık. İnsanlara Allah'ın ışığıyla bakmaya yaklaştık ve bunu yaptığımızda Niyazi Mısri'nin de bize söylediği gibi karanlıkta ışığı, zehirde panzehiri göreceğiz. Düşmanda dostu ve felakette nezaketi, letafeti göreceğiz. Burada olduğum için, sizlerle birlikte olduğum için çok mutluyum. Ve bir hoca olarak bulunduğum için de gerçekten ben hep kendimi bir öğrenci gibi hissediyorum. Ve burada çok iyi, çok sevdiğim hocalarım ve öğrenciler arasında olduğum için çok teşekkür ediyorum bana bu fırsatı verdiğiniz için.
Çok teşekkürler Omnia hocam. Ömrünüze bereket. Sağ olun.
Very much, Professor Omnia. God bless you.
Now,
if they accept us, I would like to leave the floor to the students.
Merhabalar. Kıymetli hocalarım, değerli katılımcılar. Sizleri hürmetle selamlıyorum. Üsküdar Üniversitesi Tasavvuf Araştırmaları Enstitüsü Yüksek lisans öğrencisiyim. 3. Uluslararası Yaz Okulumuz kapsamında bir araştırmacının yöntem ve çalışma metodolojisiyle araştırma konusuna yaklaşımı hakkında çok önemli kazanımlarımız oldu.
We have actually gained a lot of insight about the methodology, and this was a very meaningful framework where very meaningful examples were put forward. So what is the meaning of research? What's its significance? How can we search? How can we make our resources talk? And what are the importance of our sources? Why are introductions so important? And
öncelikle Osmanlı Türkçesi, Arapça ve Farsça öğrenmenin en azından birine hakim olabilmenin önemini bir defa daha gördük. Ayrıca tasavvufi kavramlar zaman ve mekan ekseninde nasıl işlenebilir? İnsan kamiliyeti tasavvufi mefhumlarla belirli bir zaman diliminde nasıl takip edebiliriz? Bir eser konusu, türü ve düzeni açısından nasıl incelenir? Tasavvufi menkıbeler nasıl analiz edilir? Kur'an-ı Kerim kaynaklı tasavvufi bir kavramın eserlerde araştırılıp ortaya konmasının yöntemi nedir? Tasavvufi araştırmalarda
In Sufi studies, the importance of interdisciplinary work and how can a concept be read and understood and interpreted from the works of the Sufis from different geographies. And more importantly, the researcher, what does it mean for a researcher to think and reflect with an open horizon, and how they can have an unbiased and sincere approach. First of all, I would like to extend my thanks to Cemal Nur Hoca and our rector, Nevzat Tarhan. I'm extending my respect and thank to everybody. Thank you very much, Elif. Cemal Nur Hoca, please. I cannot believe our children, I cannot believe the beauty of our children. They are adept. Reshat Hoca, I think it was Reshat Hoca who mentioned the Edeb Yahoo word. For wearing the Edeb, we are coming to this school, and the children are attracting attention not by before what they say with their adepts, and it means the school has been successful. I'm very thankful to you. Eyvallah, Professor. Now, if she accepts İrem Ada, she's a student of our PhD program of Islamic civilization and history. Her dissertation of master was Ibn al-Mesalleh. She studied on Andalusia. Now his advisor is Professor Reshat. İrem, what would you like to say about summer school? Can we hear your words? Professor, of course. First of all, I would like to extend my gratitude to all professors, in particular Cemal Nur Hoca, to you, Reshat Hoca, Elif Hoca, Nevzat Hoca, to all professors, to all my teachers. And in this summer school, first of all, we have learned what kind of methodology we should pursue from our professors and from international professors. How should we approach to the written works? And in this sense, once again, we have understood the importance of speaking Arabic, Persian, and Ottoman Turkish. In this sense, the summer school contributed a lot to us. How we can proceed in our subjects. Personally, how I can go deeper in my study, and I encouraged myself on that. I have to work more on Arabic. So I had achieved this subject matter with your guidance. I'm very grateful. And the humbleness of our professors was very important. We have also learned that besides book knowledge, we also should know the how, the manners. And thankfully, and God bless you. Actually, I'm not giving the floor to you for thanking us. It is obvious that you are grateful. Our goal here is to find out if we have learned something new. I see Erdem Ektemus, the master's student. Would you like to say something? Of course, we are always in your, with your spontaneous attacks, we have to give a response. Thank you very much. First of all, Thank you very much for giving the floor to me among this group of distinguished participants. I'm greeting Cemal Nur Hoca. I haven't seen her for a long time. And I would like to thank Emine Hoca, who has become a role model for me. Besides her great knowledge, she has been an example with her humbleness. Mahmut Hoca says ignorance is not does not mean not owning, not having knowledge, but it is the lack of connection with the knowledge. In this world, unfortunately, we have a narcissistic position. We have lost the in-depth connection with the life, with the universe, with the creator. And in this, the great duty of this institute to shake the human beings and to ensure that they make a connection with this in-depth meaning, because discernment is actually a connection with the hakika, with the reality. As we are getting away from the reality, hakika, we are living in a relative life with the reality made up. Personally, when I came to this institute in 2018. With this institute and with all these summer schools, I have been shaken. And with the Ilmenir Fund, I have achieved knowledge, and I have learn to make a connection with the knowledge, to learn the love with the creator, and in order to make it a lifestyle, in order to make it a hal, I have been training myself over all the time. And God bless you, you have a lot of efforts. And as I have said earlier, you are working 25 hours a day, and God bless you. And for God's blessing, without waiting anything in return, I'm teaching this to my students. The knowledge is emane, is given to us for a certain time. We are just a means. We do not deserve thanking. We have to thank God for using us as a means. God bless you, Professor, from all of you. Of course, at first from Cemal Nur Hoca and of Nevzat Hoca for making this opportunity. A great work is being done. Yesterday, I said this to Mamaram. I visited Senegal 3-4 times for giving lectures. There's an extraordinary potential. I wish everybody can visit and see him. People are living happiness in their life as in modesty, and they are not doing it as a show. They are sincerely experiencing. I wish everybody visit them, talk to the people on the street, experience that love and happiness. Thank you very much, Professor. And I would like to extend once again my greetings to you. Cemal Nur Hoca, please. I am very happy that I have seen my son. What he has said is very important. May God bless us with modesty and with servitude, being a servant. And through this, may Allah provide us with the approaching of the lovers of Allah. And the students are doing very much. And may Kenan Rifai accept our thanks. Inshallah, we pass away in a way close to that way. And now I would like to give to the floor Hülya Şen, our master's student. Would you like to say something? Thank you very much, Professor. Hello. In this summer school, we have been together with very distinguished professors. All of them had a different method or approach. There was one common point in the lesson of Omnia Hoca. The happiness of the heart is to feed it, nourish it with divine knowledge. So in these Saturdays, what was told by professors revived our hearts. And they made sure that we are dealing with the meaning, the spiritual. And I would like to thank you all for creating this opportunity and for setting me an example for accepting and adopting this behavior. I would like to thank all the organizers, in particular Can Güzel Hoca. I'm grateful to you for blessing my heart. May Allah bless you all for the founders of this institute and to all those who made this possible. We thank you. Now, Mr. Serkan İçten, our master's student, if you can, would you like to take the floor? Thank you very much, Professor, and all the distinguished participants. I would like to start with an analogy which I had been thinking about for a long time. As you all know, all distinguished professors, there is a stone called Million Stone on the Sultanahmet Square. Thousands of visitors pass by. Everybody visits Ayasofya and Yerebatan, Sarnıç. But just on the left corner of the square, there is a little small stone of just 1 meter below the ground, and there is a very small tablet of that. Thousands of people pass from in front of them, and only a few people see it. But this Million Stone, in the old times, in the Roman Empire times, it was measuring the distance of the center of the empire to all the provinces. It was like, it was an important symbolism. This, thanks to this Million Stone, everybody who are traveling, no matter which part of the empire it is, they understand and express their distances to of that place to the capital. So this small stone plays a very important role. It's very valuable and important. And I believe our institute and our schools, our classes during the masters and our summer schools are like this Million Stone. It always teaches us our distance, our destination, and our distance from our destination. It plays the same role. Not most people see it. Most people pass in front of that. It's a bit covered up. But maybe it's not necessary that hundreds and thousands of people see that. Maybe a few people who see it can go into that and make a research. Our institute is playing such an important role. It's changing the lives of all of us, and it is a very important cornerstone for all of us. I have completed the summer school, and during the summer schools and during the master's lessons, I believe our path is very valuable on the way to ilm and irfan. I'm a lawyer, and I am sharing this with my young lawyer colleagues. I'm reflecting it to everybody as an older brother or maybe as an uncle of them. I'm trying to help my younger colleagues. And I'm working in this direction. Inshallah, I will be successful with the permission of God. In summer school and in lessons, I have very clearly seen that in terms of methodology, about the approach to the Sufism subjects, our lessons are setting an example about the approach. As you know, the social sciences compared to the natural sciences are much more difficult disciplines. You cannot make experiments. You cannot go to the lab and prove something by making some experiments, using some elements. The methodology is very different. And the summer school has been very useful in order to teach the methodology. And people from all these different disciplines and the perspectives of our professors towards very difficult subjects, it has been very inspiring. Rick Colby has shown us the manuscript. It's even a miracle that he can read it. As you have noticed, that was an old style writing, and it requires a very hard work and a very high level of discipline. I was inspired by him and inspired by Professor Omnia. I followed the example of Can Güzel, and I started to learn Arabic for one another person, and hopefully I would like to use what I have learned in this institute for the goodness of younger people. Thank you very much to you all. And I would like to stop my remarks here. May Allah bless you all.
Ben öğrencilerime çok teşekkür ediyorum. Alıcısız ve
I'm very thankful to my students, and there is no work without the recipient and the giver. I love this turning point, milestone, and these are all through Kashf discovery. This is not true rhetorical knowledge just by the text and finding the similarity with the institute and the practice. It is actually a blessing of our Hoja, and it shows that our students are being affiliated with the core of Tasawwuf, which is Kashf. Also, I would like to thank to Omnia Hojam. Let her forgive me, I have forgotten to mention her. She made you love Arabic. Let God bless her. And we have the situation at hand. We don't read the work written in our own land, but they read it in Japan, in US, in Africa, and they are learning the languages of the first-hand literature. And God willing, they have become examples to us so that the people are now inspired to go back to Arabic and Persian lessons. Petek, would you like to say a couple of words?
Öncelikle
Yes.
Cemal hocamızın
First of all,
ellerinden
I
öpüyorum.
would like to
Sayın
greet our
rektörümüz,
Cemal
kıymetli
Hoca
hocalarımız, bütün
and also
katılımcı
our esteemed
arkadaşlar,
rector
hepinizi
and all our
selamlıyorum.
professors and all
Şimdi biz bu
our
program boyunca çok
valuable
da verimli bir
students.
haftaydı.
We have had a very
Geleneğimizin
productive
kadim
week,
metinlerinin Kur'an ve
and we
hadislerle
have
nasıl bir
looked
ilişki
at
tesis ettiğini,
the
tasavvuf
ancient texts
metinlerinin
of
Kur'an
our
hadis
tradition.
derinliğini nasıl
How
açtığını
do these
çeşitli
texts
örnekler üzerinden
expand the
etraflıca
Quran
inceleme
and Hadith
fırsatımız
texts?
oldu.
We had
Her
an
seminerde
opportunity
işlediğiniz
to
konular ve
work
ele
them in
aldığınız bu
detail. All the
tasavvuflar
topics and the
zahirde birbirinden ne kadar farklı
Sufis
gözükse de
might seem
aralarında nasıl
different
bağlantılar olduğunu
visibly
ve
in
özdeki
Zahir,
aynılığı da
but
görme
we
şansımız oluyor bu
saw
tip
how they
programlarda.
were
Bu da
the
çok güzel
same
bir şey.
at their core, even
Hocalarımız
though they
bize
might
halleriyle
differ in
örnek
their
oluyor.
details.
Onların
And
meclisinde
our
oturmak zaten çok
teachers,
güzel
our
bir şey.
hojas are an
Ama bunun
example
yanı
with their
sıra
high
akademik
state. It's a
disiplinleriyle de çok
pleasure
büyük
to be
bir
in their
örnek teşkil
presence,
ediyorlar.
and also
Böylece
they
bir
are
usta
great
çırak zemini de bize
examples in
açılmış
terms
oluyor.
of their
Şükürler
academic
olsun. Biz
disciplines
tasavvuf
as well.
metinleri
So they
üzerinde
open up
akademik
the path
araştırma yapmanın
for a
yolu,
master
yöntemi,
and
incelikleri
student
konusunda oldukça
approach, and they
aydınlandık bu
teach us
programla.
the
Ve çok hoş
details
tevafuklar
and
oldu. Mesela adeta İnşirah suresinin bir
subtleties
ayeti
of
bize
the
bazı yönleriyle
academic
açıldı.
discipline.
Şükürler olsun.
And
Mesela Omniye
Surat
hocamız ve Umut
Inshirah
hocamız
opened for us,
birbirlerinden
thank
belki
God. And
haberdar
Umut
olmadan
Hoca
iki
and
farklı
Omnia
ardışık
Hoca,
seminerde
probably
bu
without
ayetin
being aware of
incelikleriyle
each
ilgili bir
other,
şeyler
talked
açtılar.
about
Konu
the
başlıkları
subtleties
farklıydı
of this
ama
ayet,
o
even though
farklı
they
konular
had
içerisinde yeri geldi,
the
açıldı ve bu
different
sırada
topics. And
Cemal Nur hocamızın da
that
aynı
came
konuda
up,
bir
and
gazete
also
yazısı
our Cemal
çıktı.
Nur Hoca
Ve
shared
ayetin çok
a
hoş
newspaper
yönleri bize bu
clipping
kadar
with
zor
us,
bir
and
dönemde
they
açıldı.
shared very
Emine
nice
hocamız da biraz
parts of
önce
this
aynı şeye
ayet.
değindi.
And
Bunlar da çok hoş
our
şeyler. Böyle
Emine
programlarda
Hoca
rastlıyoruz
told
ve
us the same
tabii
thing as well.
tasavvuf bir
We
gün
come
akademilerden
across
yayılacak
that
vizyonu
sort of
çerçevesinde
thing.
bu çatı
Of
altında
course, the
bir programla daha biz
Tasawwuf will
adeta
expand
oku,
from the
Rabbinin adıyla
academies,
oku
and now
ayetini
with
farklı
this
biçimde
we have
aldık diye
actually
düşünüyorum. Ben sadece zihnimle
realized
idrak
the
edebiliyorum ama inşallah
read
bir
with
gün
the
bu
name
durumu
of your Creator
kalben
ayat.
şüphesiz içinde
And God
yaşayarak
willing,
görmek
one day
bana ve
we
benden
will
önce
be
de dileyen
blessed
herkese
being
bu
able to
isteyen herkese nasip olsun.
connect it.
Emeği
I
geçen
hope
tüm
this
hocalarımıza,
will
tüm
be
ekibe
possible
yürekten
for
teşekkür
everyone
ediyorum.
who
Cemal
made this
hocamız iyi ki
possible. I
buraya
would like
gelin
to thank to
demiştiniz.
everyone who
Yaptığım en
made
güzel
this
şey herhalde
possible.
buraya gelmek.
My
Size
Cemal Nur
layık olmak
Hoca,
hepimize
thank
nasip
God
olsun.
for telling me to come here. It's one of the best things I've done coming here. Thank you. Now I would like to give the word to Mr. Irfan Yavaş, who is a medical doctor. Can you please share with us your opinions as much as you were able to join in? Hocam, I took a week off so that I could participate, and I participated in person to all the lessons from morning to evening. It's my first time, it's my first year at the institute, but I will never forget the lessons that I learned here, especially about EDEB. I am thankful to you, and I will try to practice in my life what I've learned here while I prepare my thesis, what we need to do. And I got some tips and tricks about what to do. And thank you so much for your organization as well. I can't thank to our teachers enough. My son has shown adept with his attitude. I would like to thank my Hoja. We are people who will be forgotten, but this meaning, but this using tasawwuf, the task of using tasawwuf in your own field or your task, just like our Reshat Hoja says, I happily see is taking place in medicine, in pharmacy, in chemistry, in physics, in business, in law. This was very inspiring for me. I hope that we will all make use of tasawwuf. Let's make it a high, God willing. And I see that our students actually achieve this. Thank you so much, Can Güzel. And now we have 2 more students left, and then we will give the mic to Arzu Eylül Yalçınkaya. First, with your permission, if it's not a favoring, but I would like to give the word to Yekta İnci Zülfikar, since she is the student of our PhD. I would like to thank everyone shortly. And this summer school, in the hot summer days with the news about the ongoing fires and the pandemic conditions, when I first started the Tasawwuf Institute, it was a rough time as well. This is a breather for us. This is a gratefulness. It is a breeze to our hearts. Also, academically, as a graduate student, I have this is a thesis period now I have, and all the methods that I learn here will enable me to do this. The Emine Hoca's text reading and the Reshat Hoca's deep analytical reading with 3 ayats, and how much of a gain and actually barakah it brings to us from Carl to get the beauty of actually questioning, inquiring your own writing, taking his own published book and questioning, why has this person written this? What was the outcome? What was the goal? Asking this question. How nice it is. From Ibrahim Musa, I got the permission. I can question and inquire everything, because that's what Ghazali tells us. Do not refrain from asking questions. And he used the word doubt. I don't want to say shubha for this, but actually questioning, inquiry delivers you to truth. So I'm really happy that I got the permission to ask endless questions, and from also Omid and Yashar Hoja for Harakani teachings. The barakah of the land that we live, God willing, scratching it and scraping it, we will get to learn all of that. And not only in ourselves, but just like Carl said, doing an academic research, especially in religious studies, is not something that is for you only. It is something that you share with entire humanity. So you have to gauge and calibrate your language accordingly. And Marmaram Sek taught us that in a country like Senegal, okay, we know the connection to Andalusia in North Africa, but we saw how Islam expanded to entire world. God willing, we will have the opportunity to discover those geographies. Also from Omnia Ayat, we learned all the finesse of meaning. How can we discover the meaning? We just not calling it only poetry. How can we dive for the pearl and bring it up to people? I want to wrap up by saying at the start of the week, Ibrahim Musa said to us, using the word virtue, we translated into Turkish, reaching virtue, achieving virtue is actually, we're not searching for the perfect. Perfect is an arrival. It's like as if it's finished. But Tahsin Hoca said it yesterday. I forgot the word, but also surrender is not a one-time thing. We constantly surrender. Let God Almighty permit us to have this constant surrender. I don't know what to say to Yekta. She's my pride, and both on a spiritual level of understanding, both her knowledge of language, speaking 5 languages perfectly, and also against all her perfect education and knowledge, she started a master's and doctorate education in our institute upon our demand. I also would like to congratulate you, Can Güzel, you and your husband, for raising such a wonderful child. With the support of Üsküdar University, we started Persian language classes in our institute as well, and we expect for an increased demand because we now have this opportunity. Please come and join. And now I would like to thank to someone who has always given me her support, my dear student, Işıl Azak. I would like to now give the word to you. Thank you so much. I greet you all with respect. Thank you so much for your good opinions about me. I feel very lucky for the second experience of the Sufi Summer School, and I agree with Petek. This is the best thing that has happened to me. In Tahsin Hoca's class yesterday, she told us that the only way to convey meaning is not the word and the text. I have taken notes, written notes, maybe many notebooks, and I will use it for the books of Samiha Ayverdi for my thesis. But when we were corresponding with my Can Güzel Hoca, we were talking about what I gained from the summer school, and I can't put this into words. It's something totally different, and God willing, I will be able to I hope that other students can also experience this by being in presence of our students. I hope I will be worthy of this. Thank you. Thank you so much to all our precious friends, to all our prominent professors. I am grateful, and now it's time for me to extend my thanks. And as you know, there is the high of the highest, Kenan Rifai, who said that tasawwuf will be taught in academies, and we are his children. So there is someone who has not taken this only as words, but who has internalized this, who has digested this, and who has started a mobilization accordingly, and who has sacrificed her life. Our beloved Cemal Nur Hoca, I would like to thank her wholeheartedly in the presence of our audience. And as we can see, all of this is only a product of a team. And the person who runs this team, and with her smiling face and challenge and overcoming the challenges, encouraging us every day, my dear Hoca Elif Erhan, heartfelt thanks to you. And if we are able to be here gathering with professors from 8 universities from all over the world, this is all with the tolerance, support, and the stamina of our Cemal Nur Hoca. If it wasn't for that, we would never be here. In the final analysis, in our own jobs and professions, we are on this suluk, on this path, and we are the wayfarers. So as wayfarers of this way, we are all trying to learn things a bit deeper in our own fields. But now we know that all of these efforts reach to a meaning. That's when we realize that when we get united in Tawheed, we understand that what we have acquired throughout the years by experience are emerging upon your request. I'm saying it for each and every one of our Hojas at the Institute. Elif Erhan Hocam has managed us with so much stamina, so much resilience, so much patience. She stood by us at every challenge we faced. Our founding rector, Nevzat Tarhan Hoca, mobilized all the teams of the university. The staff of our university were thankful. Our friends from Kerim Foundation, day and night, round the clock, worked for us, not for us, but for the summer school. Also, at the background, everything that we said have been interpreted breathlessly, relentlessly. Our esteemed professional interpreters at the background, Ms. Didem Bayer, she's also a student of our institute. Didem, please. And Pırıl Akkuş and Özge Delice, and my dear sister, my dear friend, Aylin Yurdacan. Let God be almighty content with you. Why? Because we see that the language of the heart needs to be converted to the other language of our tongue in the mouth for these speeches to be delivered to far away. Thanks to you, you made the distant near. Thank you so much to all our dear interpreters, our dear students from Germany. You have mobilized all of our friends, Bülent Şener, and you are all the participants. Thank you so much. Now I will not take any longer, and in our institute there is someone who works breathlessly, my dear student as well, Özge Alada. Endless thank you to you. She has run to everything, so many problems. She never left her smile. And Dicle Filiz, our assistant secretary, thank you so much. Yunus Emre's language of hal is told us by Arzu Eylül Yalçınkaya. Now I would like to pass the mic to her, and she will give us the transitionary speech, and then we will have the concert. I greet you all with so much respect. So with one last piece of information I want to share with you. Aylin and Asuman, my sister Kulaksız, Asuman Kulaksız, have translated Kenan Rifai's works to English in the poetry version. You can find it on Amazon. It's like a commentary on Quran. I would like to suggest that you get that book. Thank you so much.
Başta Cemal Nur hocam olmak üzere tüm Hazirun'u
First of all, I
saygı
would
ve
like to
sevgiyle
greet
selamlıyorum.
all our audience
Efendim,
with love and
bir
respect.
anekdotla başlamak istiyorum.
I want to start with an anecdote.
Umre'deyken Umre ziyaretimiz
When
sırasında
we were in Umre,
ihtiyaç gidermek üzere bir markete
we
girdim.
went
Sırada
into a
beklerken, kasiyerde
supermarket to
beklerken
buy what we needed,
orada
and
bir
while we
arbede
were on the
oluştu
queue
önde.
for payment,
Anlayamadım da
there
tam ne
was
oluyor.
a
Bir tatsızlık
conflict, there
oldu.
was a
O
fight,
sırada
problem.
kasiyer hiç
And
başını
then the
kaldırmadan
teller,
yaptığı işten dedi
without
ki
ever moving
İnnallâhe
her
me'as
head,
sabirin.
said,
Allah
"İnnallâhe
sabredenlerle
me'as
beraberdir.
sabirin."
Birdenbire o iki
God
kavga
is
eden kişi
with the
dediler
ones who are
tamam o
patient,
zaman
and suddenly
affan
the
bizi affet.
people
Sarıldılar,
who were
öpüştüler, kavga bitti. Ne olduğunu
fighting
anlayamadım
just
ama o
hug
ayet
each other, and
yani
the
kendi
fight
dillerinde
ended the fight
ilahi
in
bir
their
kelamı
own
işitmiş
language.
olmak, o
Hearing
uyarıyı
a
almış olmak birden onların
divine
bütün ayarlarını, o
verse
güne kadarki
has
yaptıkları eğitimleri
resetted
devreye soktu
their
ve her şey
settings,
düzeldi.
and
Şimdi insanın kendi
everything
diliyle
got
eğitim alması çok
peaceful.
önemli.
So it's very
Allah-u
important that
Teala
one gets
lütfetmiş bize
educated
Arap
in our
dilinde
mother
Kur'an-ı
tongue.
Kerim'i
God
göndermiş.
Almighty has
O bir
bestowed
iletişim, o
upon
bir
us
dil. Öğrenmek için
Quran
gayret
in
ediyoruz.
Arabic.
Fakat bir
It's
de
a
o
communication,
manayı
it's a language,
Kur'an'dan
and
ve
we
ledün
strive to
ilminden
learn
alarak
it.
bizim dilimize
And
tercüme
then
edenler var.
there are people who
Bunlardan iki
translate
örneği ben
this
bu dönem
into
bu
our
yaz okulunda
language with
dersinde işlemeye
ilmi
gayret ettim.
ledun
Yunus Emre
to
Hazretleri ve
interpret.
Kenan
One is
Rifai
Yunus
Hazretleri.
Emre and
Yunus
Kenan
Emre
Rifai
tarafından
Hazretleri.
uyarılmak bizi de çok
Being
etkili. Çünkü
warned by
o bizim
Yunus Emre
dilimizden
is
bize
very
hitap ediyor.
important for us
Allah
because he
sevmiş
speaks
yaratmış
our
diyoruz.
language.
Sevelim sevelim
And we
dünya
say
kimseye kalmaz
God
diyoruz.
has
72
loved and
millete bir gözle
created,
bakalım
and
diyoruz.
let
Bunlar
us love each
bize
other.
Yunus Emre
And we say,
tarafından
let's
aktarılan
see everybody
önemli
the same. These are
altı çizilecek
important
cümleler.
messages
Kendisine de
that should be
huzurlarınızda
underlined.
şükranlarımı arz ediyorum.
And
Çünkü
I would
eğer
like to
Yunus Emre'nin
extend
şiirleri
my
olmasaydı ilk orta lise
gratefulness to
öğretmenliğimi
Yunus Emre
o
because
şekilde
if it wasn't
yapamazdım.
for
Çünkü
his
öğrenciler
poetry,
her
I
dersin
would
belli bir
never
kısmında Yunus'tan
be
şiirler ve ilahiler duymak istiyorlardı.
teacher of
Ta ki kendimizi
secondary
oraya
school the
atıncaya
way
kadardı
I
bütün
did.
çabamız.
And they
Üniversitedeki
always
dersinde de
wanted
yurt
verses
dışından
from
gelen
Yunus Emre from when
öğrencilerin
I was
Yunus'un
teaching.
şiirlerini o
And when I
çatpat
was teaching
Türkçeleriyle
at the
anlayabildikleri için
university,
ve
since they
oradaki
were
manayı
able to
idrak edebildikleri
understand
için onu çok
Yunus's
sevdiler.
verses,
Yaz
when
okulunda
my
da hani
foreign
onu bir
students
kademe
read
ileriye
it,
taşımak
they loved
istedim.
him so much.
Ve
So I
Yunus'un bir
wanted to
görü,
take it
birlik
much
anlayışı,
further
Anadolu
in the summer
tasavvufunda öne
school.
çıkan bir görü
His idea
anlayışına
and
biraz
understanding
temas
of
etmeye çalıştım.
oneness and
Hep Yunus
unity was
Emre
what I
Hazretleri'ni
wanted to
hoşgörüyle
touch upon.
tanıyoruz.
And
Fakat
we know him
divanında çok az
always with
geçiyor.
his
O
tolerance.
daima
But in his
ikiyi bırak,
divan,
ikiyi elden
he
çıkar.
always
Biri
says,
sen birliğe
let go
gel
of
diyor. Hazreti
duality
Peygamber
and come
Aleyhisselam'ın
to
meşhur hadisi
oneness
vardır.
if you are
Eğer
one
yerde
piece.
bir
And
işte müminlere zarar verecek bir
if there
siçimi
is
bir Müslüman
someone,
kaldırır, bir yere
if there
koyarsa,
is
kenara
a
kaldırırsa
piece of
o
a string
tavır
that
onun
will hurt the
İslam'ının en küçük bir
mu'min, and
işaretidir
if
diyor.
somebody, a mu'min, a believer,
Şimdi
moves
bizdeki
that
hoşgörü
string
çok büyük
not
bir
to hurt the other
amel, çok büyük
mu'mins,
bir iş.
that's a
Bunun
prayer,
arkasında
that's a
tevhid
good
var.
deed, he says. And
Allah'a
that's a
iman var.
major understanding of
Resulünün o büyük
tevhid,
ahlakı var.
of faith to God. And the
Bu kadarla
ahlak
kalmış
of
olalım.
the
Bunun
Rasul,
devamını
the
da
Prophet. So
şunu da bağlayayım.
let's
Kenan
just
Rifai
leave it
Hazretleri
there
de
and
diyor
let me
ki
wrap up
bir
by
görmek,
saying,
bir
Kenan
sevmek,
Rifai
bir
says,
işlemek lazım
one
diyor. Yani
love,
Anadolu tasavvufunun bir ucunda
one
Yunus Emre var,
seed,
bir
and
ucunda
one
Kenan Rifai
word.
Hazretleri var.
So we have
Bugün de
Yunus
bilelim
Emre
bilmeyelim
one
ki
end
aslında
and Kenan Rifai
bu
at one
çerçevede
end.
amel ediyor diye
And that's
düşünüyoruz.
the
Daha çok
framework
çalışmamız
that we
gerektiğini
do
düşünüyorum
our
Yunus Emre'yi.
deeds. I think we need to
Emre
work
hocamız,
more on
Profesör
Yunus
Doktor
Emre. Our Emre
Emre
Hoca,
Ömürlü hocamız
Professor
lütfettiler.
Doktor
Sufi
Emre
Poetry and
Ömürlü
Music
blessed
dersinin o
us
müzik kısmında
with his
bize bir konser
contribution
lütfettiler. Beni de
in
kabul
the
ettiler
Sufi
o
poetry and
kadroya.
music
Bu
section of
bağlamda
our
La
summer
Edri'den kısaca
school.
bahsetmek ve sizi
Now I would like to
konserimize baş
tell
başa
you a
bırakmak
bit about
istiyorum.
La Edri,
La
the
Edri
group
topluluğu
that will give
2006
the
yılında
concert.
Kenan
Established in
Rifai'nin
2006,
torunlarından Orhan Büyükaksoy ve Cemal
by
Musarraf
Orhan
hocamızın gayretleriyle
Büyükaksoy, who
kurulmuştur.
is one of the
Emre
grandchildren
Ömürlü
of
hocamız da
Kenan Rifai.
idare
And
ediyorlar.
Emre Ömürlü is the chef, the
Efendim
conductor
Neva
of the
makamında, Segah
team.
makamında, Müstehar,
And
Huzam,
Neva
Niklis, Ras makamında
and
ilahilerimiz
Müstehar,
var.
Ras,
Zevk
Niklis
etmemiz,
are
hal
the
etmemiz ümidiyle
makams
inşallah
that we
seneye
will
buluşmak
sing the
üzere.
ilahi.
Hoşçakalın, esen kalın.
See you next year. Hope to gather with you all again next year. Stay well, stay healthy. God be with you.
Dolapın içine inersin, dolapın içine inersin. Derdimi vardır inlerim illallah. Ben Mevla'ya aşık oldum, ben Mevla'ya aşık oldum. Anın için inerim illallah. Sübhanallah, Sultanallah, Sübhanallah, Sultanallah, Ya Rifai, şeyen lillahi illallah. Benim adım dertli dolam, benim adım dertli dolam. Suyum akar yalap yalap illallah. Böyle eylemiş canım, böyle يعني السوق شيئا إلا الله Yoldaşım gel Allah Allah diyeyim Hakka verdiğimiz hali gülelim Allah adında zikredelim her iş Allah'tandır onu bilelim dervişim gel yâre yâre dönelim aşk şarabın kale kale içelim el eleyken an tutup seyredelim dost cemalin aşkla tavaf edelim. Dolap için inilersin derdim vardır inelim Ben Mevla'ya aşık oldum anın için inelim Sübhanallah Sultanallah aleyke ya Resulallah Hannan Allah mennan Allah aleyke ya Resulallah Benim adım dertli dolap suyum akar yalap yalap Böyle emreylemiş çalabanın için ilerim Sübhanallah Sultanallah aleyke ya Resulallah Hannan Allah mennan Allah aleyke ya Resulallah Beni bir dağda buldular kolum kanadım kırdılar Dolap alayım gördüler anın için ilerim Sübhanallah Sultanallah Allah sultana aleyke ya Resulallah Hannan Allah mennan Allah aleyke ya Resulallah Canı candır Hazreti Ahmed Muhammed Mustafa Canı candır Hazreti Ahmed Muhammed Mustafa Tenedem ruhi revanımdır Aliyyül Mürteza Tenedem ruhi revanımdır Aliyyül Mürteza Kurre-i ayni Muhammed Şah Hasan İbni Ali Kurre-i ayni Muhammed Şah Hasan İbni Ali hem Hüseyin müjteba şahı şehidi Kerbela hem Hüseyin müjteba şahı şehidi Kerbela Soyun varından arından Hele gel gir bu meydane Geliz teni sen hakkın Canını ver aşka merdane Allah Allah Allah Allah La ilahe illallah La ilahe illallah Muhammed Hak Resulullah Yapıştım bab-ı ihsana Garibim ya Resulallah Yanar aşkın ile kalbim Şefaat ya Habib Allah Resulullah. Sevabım çok, günahım çok. Rifai Seydi Ahmet, mürüvvet mürşidim edhem. Yetişken an akıl imdan. Allah Allah, Allah Allah. La ilahe illallah, la ilahe illallah. Muhammed Hak Resulullah. Ben yürürüm yâne yâne, yahu yahu. Aşk boyadı beni kâne, yahu yahu. Ne akilem ne divane, yahu yahu. Gel gör beni aşk neyledi, yahu yahu. Aşkını beni mest eyledi, yahu yahu. Adı gönlüme hasta eyledi, yahu yahu. Öldürmeye kast eyledi, yahu yahu. Gel gör beni aşk neyledi, yahu yahu. Ben Yunus'u biçareyim, yahu yahu. Baştan ayağlayayım, yahu yahu. Ben bir deli divaneyim, yahu yahu. Gel gör beni aşk neyledi, yahu yahu. İstediğimi buldum eşkere can içinde. Taşra isteyen kendi kendisi ten içinde. Allah Allah daim hay Mevlana'yım baki bu. Allah Allah daim hay Mevlana'yım baki bu. Yunus senin sözlerin nanedir bilenlere. Söyleyeler sözünü devr zaman içinde. Allah Allah daim hay Mevla daim daim. bakihu. Allah Allah daim hay Mevla daim bakihu. Bile Ebu Bekir Ömer Osman Ali dört yarıdır. Hazreti Peygamberin bunlar gülü gülzarıdır. Muhammed piri sırrı Yezdani, Abdülkadir Geylani, alel alel ya Seydiye ayni, alel alel ya Ruhiye ayni, ya hay ya hay ya hay ya daim, ya hay ya hay ya hay ya baki, zehir simari nurani, zehir ferhunde pişani, kemali hüsnü insani, Abdülkadir Geylani, alel alel ya Seydiye ayni, alel alel ya Ruhiye ayni, ya hay ya hay ya hay ya daim, ya hay ya hay ya hay ya baki. Erler demine destur alalım, erler demine destur alalım, pervaneye bak ibret alalım, pervaneye bak ibret alalım. Aşkın ateşine gel bir yanalım, aşkın ateşine gel bir yanalım, pervaneye bak ibret alalım, pervaneye bak ibret alalım. Dost, dost, dost, dost, devrana girip seyran edelim, dergaha girip tevhid çekelim. Eyvah, demeden Allah diyelim, la ilahe illallah, la ilahe illallah, la ilahe illallah. Mevla'ya salli ve sellim daimen ebeden, ala habibike hayril halki küllihimi, emin tezekkür ciranin bizi selevi, mezeçte dem ancera min mukletin bilevi, hüvel habibülevi türca şefaatühü li külli hevlin minel ehvali muktehami, Muhammedun seyyidül kevneyni ve sekaleyni vel ferikaynin urbin velin acemi. Mevla'ya salli ala Muhammedin ve ala ezvacihi tahirat ve küllihim ecmain. Sümmer reca alevi Bekir'in ve an Ömer'i ve hadra Osmaniya, Mevla Ali bilemi. Mevla'ya salli ala Muhammedin ve ala eshabihil hulefa ve küllihim ecmain. Ey aşık-ı dildade, gel nuş edelim bade, bir bade gerek anla, kimi çileme vade. Can Allah, canan Allah, canlar sana kurban Allah. Hay kalbim zikrullah, la ilahe illallah, Muhammedun Resulullah. İşit bu sezayiden, ne gördü fenayiden, dost vecihini gösterdi, mirat-ı mücelladen. Canan Allah, Canan Allah, canlar sana kurban Allah. Hay kalbi zikrullah, la ilahe illallah, Muhammedur Resulullah.